All right, hitting go live. There we go. There, I think we're live now.
Oh. Well, that's good. Like that's our job or something.
Right.
Or something.
Hi, guys.
Stuart, have you recovered from our drunk live, which was a long one? And everyone rather liked it.
Yes.
Excellent.
And I think the reason I was so down at the end of that was like just out of because of probably the THC drink. I think it really relaxed me like too much, but that's okay. Anyway, that's what they're supposed to do. So
you two chill talk about Star Trek ships.
Yeah.
Love it. That's great.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yes. Welcome. Welcome.
And yes, today we're doing episode 25 from season 4 of. Right, I know TNG.
When things
in
used
theory
to be in more than 12 or 13. Do you remember those times, Stuart?
Yes.
That was great.
Yeah, it was.
For the dark time, for the Empire.
Right, and it was on a regular schedule every year. Came out the same time, ended the same time.
Yep.
Now you get 12 episodes, so we'll get to them when we can get to them. Like 5 years later, there's season 2. Sweet.
I mean, not actually that bad, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Doctor Who? Anyone?
Well,
or Sherlock Holmes.
Well, that's
Sherlock.
Yeah, but they're 3 movies though. They're not the same. They're movies really.
Well, that's annoying as all hell, though.
Yeah.
Just call it a damn movie then. Don't call it a series. Anyway.
So welcome to this episode of complaining about Doctor Who and Sherlock, both by same people, or were. If you haven't seen either, then click off now, because we're a very focused podcast today. Right?
Right. All right, that's 3 super chats to start, which is awesome. Ozzy puts in $10. All hail the Spirit Commander and Super Captain Foley. You need Need for Speed Lego time. Federation President Skeleton Hands. Okie dokie. He sent me the Top Gun 2 trailer done all in Lego. So I feel the need for speed. That's what he's referring to.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
It's weird, but cool. I like it.
Yeah. Olivia Julius, $5. Welcome to the live. Captain Stuart Eugene Foley and his sidekick, Commander Samuel Milton Cockings, will be here shortly. This must be our Mirror Universe counterparts.
Or like a third universe, because that's even more confusing.
Yeah. Olivia Julius, another $5. Have you tried out the new Trekyards androids? Comes with unlimited data. Oh, and guys, look all around us. Look at the top and the bottom of the screen. It's our new LCARs done by Tim Davies. He does amazing work. And yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're using new stuff.
So we've teased you a couple of these, but this is the actual TNG era one. And so yeah, here it is.
Nice.
Huzzah.
Am I centered?
No. Oh, you must have moved from the pre. It happens. There you go. That's fine. I moved it.
Okay, cool.
There you go.
Just want to make sure.
I've trained you well.
Yes. I am your Padawan.
Yes. Hi, Mr. McLaurin. Good to see you too.
Yes, good to see you all. 43 of you here, 30 likes. Cool. Hit that like button, guys. It's a good way to start out.
And it's always funny to see which ones people really flock to. I know we're always both quite intrigued by that. We kind of hope all of them, obviously. It's always our hope, but because yeah, we're almost at the end. I'm hitting season 5. Goodness, that's
yeah.
Didn't necessarily think we'd get this far when we started. Not that we didn't think we were going to, but I definitely wasn't. I was like, okay, Stuart, we've got to survive season 1. And then we did 2, 3, 4 now. Oh my goodness.
Dan says your microphone sounds a little low, but yeah.
Well, it's probably all a bit high. Yeah, because there you go.
Readjusted. We're good.
Yeah.
I've been having microphone issues. The end of the last live, this thing was what was causing all the issues. My single earpiece. That's why I'm wearing blue ones right now. Because I plugged this in today, and it was like. even with the blue one, we're having a little bit of issue until I. Anyway, we might need new microphones soon. Just saying. It's only been what? 4 or 5 years for these?
I'd say 3.5.
3.5.
Yeah, we didn't for a while because I used my. I don't know what you used. I think did you get yours first?
We got ours at the same time.
I thought.
I remember.
Yeah. What did you use before that then?
The one on my webcam, I think. I also had that little blue one, which didn't work very well. It was kind of janky.
Yeah, because I remember I used in this room I'd used it, so that definitely has been 5 years at least. But I think probably 4 then at this point, probably. But it's been a little while. But Stuart, speaking of a little while, this intro was a nice little while, so I will start sharing and see who jumps in and says hey. So hey and bye and see you in a minute.
Bye. All right, guys, hit that like button. We got 35 people here and 45 likes. What? Can't hear you. You're muted, my friend. Hit that like button if you're able to. I'd really appreciate that. It's a great way and a free way to help us out. Another way to help us out is super chats. As you saw, there's a few super chats in there already, which really show your support for the channel, help us out, and also get your voice heard, your comment read, all that jazz. So if you're able to, please consider doing so. Also head on over to Trekyards/Patreon if you want to help us out on a monthly basis, or on YouTube here if you just want to click join. There's a join button down there. You can become a Federation president, just like Ozzy and Olivia and Mark, and I think there's another Federation president as well. But you can also become a commander, captain, admiral, or fleet admiral. So you can choose your rank, and you also get to have your name highlighted, have a badge beside your name, shows us how long you've been with us, and also you get to use the emojis and stickers in the chat. But yeah, if you want to help us out, you can do that any of those ways. Also in the description of every video, there is links and codes and things and stuff to do. So check that out. Like I said, it's the description of every video. So, oh, I need to check something here. Hold on. Yes. Maybe. 4.5 years we've had these microphones. So, Samuel's an idiot. And he can't hear me right now, so that's even funnier. Sylvia was the one that looked it up when I bought it on Amazon. And, yeah. So it's time to get a new one, I think. This one is on its last legs. But that's okay. These Yeti Blue microphones are awesome, and every YouTuber pretty much, well, 95% of the YouTubers I see that I watch on a regular basis use them, so pretty good stuff. But anyway, yes, you can also send a PayPal if you want to help us out via PayPal, if that's more of your thing. There is information for a PayPal link down in the description as well, so send that to trekyards@hotmail.com and just let us know in the chat that you've sent that, and we will read your comment or question via the email through PayPal there. So, all right. Well, Samuel's back. Look at that.
Hello.
So, Sylvia looked it up. 4.5 years we've had these Yeti microphones. It's 4.5 years ago that I bought this. And we got ours at roughly the same time. I think one of us got it a little bit sooner, but yeah. So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Not a band account, though. $2, so thank you. Should have seen Data try Love Again with the motion chip. Ooh, yes. But then he died. And it was sad.
And then died again. And it was still sad.
Something like that. Eugene, 1,000 rubles. Thank you. Very memorable Data plot. Very memorable Dark Matter plot. But I always forget they both are in the same episode. I agree with you 1,000%. Yeah. Anywho, so Samuel, do you want to start with this one, or do you want me to start? Because,
well, you're not the biggest fan of anything to do with romance in life or television, so I guess I'll start.
Okay.
So yeah, this one obviously we in looking at the thumbnails, obviously I'm making them. Okay, great, it's the one with her. There we go. That's the summary. But I didn't remember that Patrick Stewart directed it. That changes the vibe. I didn't remember the thing that I took away most from this episode was the care and attention that Patrick put in towards his cast. Beverly kind of got half a scene, but everyone got a scene. Everyone got a moment. They're all very, very in character, which is not normally done. But they've done a few this season, so it definitely felt like Patrick was really working with everybody. And also Brent Spiner must have got a haircut or something, because his hair is definitely shorter and slicked back. It's very glossy in the first half. It's like overly weird.
And his forehead looks like a 5 head. It looks bigger for some reason. Yeah.
Like I say, Betty had to get a haircut, and they like, well, how do we make this look different? So he looked different. But the script's good, the acting's good. I do think you've got to accept early on that she's weird and not mentally all there, because everything has to come from her perspective. That's kind of the falling point in this episode, that it's not, he can't give anything, and there's not many hints of that really. So it's kind of a enjoy the ride rather than enjoy it for as much substance in terms of those two, because they didn't want to give any sort of depth to him, unfortunately. Even at the end, you're waiting for a moment, because he's other episodes where there's a moment of, oh, he does feel it, and they didn't quite commit to something. Like, they vaguely did, but it wasn't.
At the end, it was like, bitch, please, all he needs is his cat Spot.
As long as he gets that pussy, he's fine.
Even get Spot looking like right at the camera, like, yes, my android. Get out of here, woman.
And this is the first Spot appearance. I don't remember seeing it before. And I've watched them all in sequence, so.
Interesting.
I mean, it makes sense. You give him some sort of other companionship, and more painting. And it might be his first musical as well. So I think he played violin with maybe those old guys on that podium once, but it's the first violin or first flute for sure. So it's a lot of data stuff, but it's I also think it really benefited from having a science plot, because that helped to not just ground it but also give it a little bit more depth. It's a pretty lackluster one, but it's interesting enough to kind of get you through. Although I do think, just like Patrick Stewart in Nemesis wanted a Doom buggy, Patrick Stewart wanted to be a fighter pilot, not realising they picked the shittiest shuttle to do it in, and they haven't got the budget to make him a fighter pilot. So it felt kind of like a Patrick Stewart, I want to be the guy because I'm directing, so I put myself in the damn chair.
So I didn't even know he directed it, so there's a new take on things for me.
So it's very much a Lower Decks episode. It's very much both in the context of TNG and the context of the other show. So I liked it. It's good.
Well, you might want to read Robert Westphal's comment there.
Yes. But it's all intentional, Robert. Watch part 2. It all makes sense.
And he's not talking about this captain. Even though this captain's an ass.
I thought he did for a second. I was like, what? What?
I know. Anywho, so this one's not bad. I do like the lady. She's a little bit mentally unstable though, and it kind of shines through. Picard felt off to me in this episode, and now I think I know why, because of the directing. I didn't realize that was the case. The Beverly scene was hey, we need Beverly in here for 5 seconds. All right, let's do something. It was fine, I guess.
I mean, it's as much as they often give for TNG. It's just everyone else got such a good moment. It was weird to see her moment be.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. This was the dark matter part of this. I thought was really fun. I did like that aspect of it. I still have questions about how the dark matter works, because if they're moving forward and it comes through, that would these things falling off the shelves all the way through. Instead of just, it does say that it's moving as well, but that's neither here nor there. It's just kind of a weird anomaly thing, a temporal anomaly.
Damn it! I was gonna say, but at least it's not a temporal anomaly. Well played, sir. Well played.
Right. Some interesting shots of the Enterprise in this one as well, and the nebula stuff was kind of interesting. Although I don't think they always remembered that they were in a nebula. Some of the background plates, but it is what it is. Other than that, everybody kind of gets a good enough part, except for Beverly. And this is one of the most memorable visuals of the show. That I never remember what episode it's in. That's where the girl's embedded in the floor, because that's got to be a terrifying way to die. You got to cut that deck plate out or transport it out, and then replace it. That's pretty awful, actually, when you think about it. But yeah, I never remember what episode that is in, and this is the one. I never put the two together either, the love plot.
And you know what, Stuart? I still won't from now on.
I know.
Let's be honest.
I know. I hear you.
Oh, I did find that. No, I'll save it before we get there. Sorry.
Yeah, I just it's an okay episode for me. It doesn't. The romance thing is kind of interesting actually with Data, and I created a new program, and you're not just one of the variables. You're a very important part of it. And then at the end, he's just like, yeah, I'm just going to delete that. Bye. It's like, oh, you cold-hearted bastard.
Yeah.
So no, I thought it was interesting to watch anyway, and him trying too hard to make it work.
Although, didn't you think that was a little bit sudden? Like there was no scene to lead into that, which I thought was a bit strange.
Not that you'd understand the reference, but all I thought was Data Vision.
Yeah.
With that whole scene.
I'm gonna watch that soon. I've decided I'm gonna watch that show in the next couple of weeks.
Very much worth it.
Although I guess because it's ending soon, so I just get to binge it, which is not how anyone else has binged it. Might be a good way of doing it. So I get to review it differently to you. So I've binged it all. I don't have to think about it. I just watch it.
So overall, not a bad episode. Some funky science stuff going on. You get to see different parts of the ship, like the torpedo bay, and that one line, "She kissed me in the torpedo bay." It's like, oh, really? Is that what you call your dick? What? Oh, okay.
Didn't get that from that, but
I did every time I hear it. And it's fun to have Guinan in this as well. Guinan plays a perfect role, and gets more time than Beverly, but that's okay because got to use the guest stars when you can. So,
although it did make me think, why do I even bother having like Whoopi? She's not been in this season at all. Like she's left no imprint because she hasn't been here. I know it's all because of schedules, but it's like she didn't feel forced, but she's not been here enough that it felt unearned in a sense. It's like, oh yeah, she's here. Like the impact is now worn off because she's not in it enough to have any sort of real value, which is weird. You always think of her, it's like Garrick, you always think of her being way more present, but she really isn't. She really, really isn't. Not a bad thing, just, should have been twice as more. Twice as more?
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Twice as much.
Thank you. Thank you, good sir. You solved my English.
Right. Sean O'Sullivan, though, €2. You see Pogo song on this episode is a sample song.
Yeah. It was.
Oh, yes, it was.
That was a surprise to hear. I was like, oh my god, it's that. It's not me, everyone thinks that's me, but it's not. Go away, go die, go away, go away, go away. Then.
It's Samuel if he was handsome. I'm just kidding.
Is he though? Jesus.
He's a good-looking guy.
Is he though?
I'd do that for $1.
Would he though?
Anyway, so that's my summation. Interesting episode.
Okay.
I didn't know it was directed by Patrick Stewart. That is interesting to find out. And yeah, you got the shuttle thing at the end, which is odd to say the least, especially the dialogue between him and Riker, the way that's handled. It seemed wrong. And now it kind of makes a little bit more sense. So
yeah, because seriously, like it didn't need to be there. And you would think that Riker could out-order him. But it does help with the fact that Patrick Picard was a pilot before he became the command rank. And I always like seeing him in that role because they never go into that very much. But he was a good pilot when he had a normal job. I wish that was shown more, but...
Wait a minute, who? A pilot? Like, Patrick Stewart was a pilot?
Yeah, he was a helms officer. That's the division he came from.
Oh, you mean Picard?
Yeah, sorry.
Patrick Stewart, the actor.
No, sorry.
I know Worf. Michael Dorn does fly planes, and he actually does some jet flying as well, and did back then as well. So, yeah.
But I always like seeing when, it's like... Because you think of all these people as being, well, what are they now? But it's like Patrick Picard wasn't always a command officer. You don't start in command. You start somewhere else. And you choose command after you serve your term doing a job. You don't start your job in command.
Even Data's like second officer, and he's not in the command red. He's in the sciences, so but he's after Riker, he's the next in charge of the ship. So,
although let's be fair for a second, in watching this episode, how many points does it lose having Keiko in?
None, because she was appropriately used.
But he's still a beating heart. Wow. Goodness.
Think about this. You got everybody in here, even
Yeah.
Keiko, O'Brien, even
Guinan.
Yep. So, and yes, I know that if you blink, you'll miss Dr. Crusher, but still, at least everybody's kind of there.
Don't have Ogawa though. But that's
true.
But she isn't a thing yet. Although, boy, they really gave that other Helms officer a lot of one-lines, and boy, she couldn't act for shit. Like, she was so bland.
She was somebody's like relative. Yeah,
she's been
on the show.
She's been in a couple, but there's just no inflection. Like, I know professional is important, but there's no inflection in what she's doing. She's a blank stone, and she could have done something. Like you're given lines by Riker on the Enterprise. You're the flagship Helms officer in a life or death situation. Try.
Please. Yeah.
Please. Yeah. Well, there you go.
Well, sir.
Yes.
Let's get into it. 66 people here. Awesome. 51 likes. Also great. Hit that like button. And if you have any thoughts, ideas, anything about this episode you want to let us know, good way to get our attention is to super chat. It'll help us out. We'd really appreciate it. So if you can, please do.
Like that part of the process. Now, is this the first time I've seen a torpedo prop? Well, I guess it's probably reused from the movies, from Spock's thing, but in TNG, probably the first time?
Probably. And it is gray. It's different. It's not black, so it's worth pointing out.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're modifying these torpedoes because of the dark matter concentration of this nebula is different than they've seen before, so they're running some experiments.
And I like the room. I mean, it's clearly the battle bridge, but it's a much less clearly. Like yes. they took out one of the walls, and it's got a good vibe, even though it's the same. So I like the redress here more than that, because they do spend quite a lot of time here, so they have a bit more money to spend, but it has a really nice vibe.
The odd thing to me is that every time they redo a room like this, like that was for the courtroom or whatever, or even the battle bridge, all the railings are exactly like the TOS railings. It's like the TOS railing aesthetic is just like carried over into like
for secondary rooms.
Yeah. Remember where we came from? Those railings were great. Let's keep using those. I don't have a problem with it. It's a great looking railing.
I mean, you say that, but these torpedoes start an Enterprise, so it's like, fun fact, these torpedoes, this exact size of the prop has been around for 180 years. Oh, how do you know? Oh, because Riker told us once. What? Oh, that's in season 6, don't worry.
Sean O'Sullivan, €2. In the Academy, there are command specialists, Kirsty, etc.
You'd be sort of a normal job as well.
Yeah.
You don't get assigned to not command. You do other, I mean, there might be a few specialists. Like, you're not going to necessarily waste the best command officer in other things, but most people don't go. Most people start in a job and choose to go command if they feel like, oh, I've done enough of science, let me command, etc.
Yeah. So we find out when we meet Jenna here, and he's like, you seem preoccupied, and she's like, oh, I ran into Jeff, and he invited me to dinner. And it's a very cute moment. The whole, should I now remind you about the reasons you broke up with Jeff? Yeah. And it's actually kind of funny because she's like, I forgot about those. Thank you, Data. I thought it was a nice little moment because you always say that kind of stuff in conversation. If I ever say I'm going to do this again, just remind me of, So,
yeah, it was a very. What she brings a very human element, which is super intentional because she has to balance every scene to give the 150% to give you a sense of this chemistry that really is mostly one way. So she adds really like a very, very gentle addition. Although it is bugging me, her uniform, the line down the middle, like it's only on the secondaries. But they have guests that come in without that. It's like that's not how the main uniform looks. Why are you making these people have... It doesn't look as good.
There was a scene that was cut out where she's going to unzip it and it's going to pop out and be all like obstructive and stuff.
I mean, that is a possibility for sure. But I think Patrick, when he filmed that, he decided to take the tape home and it was damaged. So, and that's why Brent's in Picard, because they have a solidarity pact. I don't tell you, keep giving me a higher date. No. No, it's nice. And although I do kind of wish that A should have been in other episodes because they have a lot to throw on her back. wouldn't it have been nice if it was that other quirky engineer from season 2 that put coffee on Picard? I think that would have been a much... Not that she isn't good, she is good, but I think the energy would have been more pure with her, like more quirky fun. And she was already in the show, and everyone knows about her. And just having her be introduced, and then, you know, I just wish she was in more. Even just one other appearance, like use one of the other guest stars that came in, you know?
No, I agree. And even Leffler, who we meet later, she's in actually 2 episodes. I think she was already in one that we reviewed, just as a background character in engineering. And then soon she comes up to, you know, be like one of the main of the episode with Wesley. But you need to see more people like that. And O'Brien really did that. Like O'Brien was the perfect use of like a background character that eventually became an important character.
Yeah,
and we've got Lieutenant Kyle and stuff from TOS as well, which you see in the transporter room. You see him on the bridge. He's in Star Trek 2 on the bridge of the Reliant. Same character with the mustache and stuff. So that's carried over very well too, but very much more. Not a lot of people know about Lieutenant Kyle. You know,
it's just they play this character off as if, and that's an achievement though. Like Keiko, like O'Brien, as if everyone knows about her. When Data is not seen to have friends, and so to introduce a friend that, you know, because she even says later on, and he hangs out with me when I'm lonely, implying a long-term relationship of building whatever. You know what I mean? It's a little bit too abrupt. And I definitely wish Geordie had been in more of this episode. You would think he would be in more, given he's actually his best friend, and actually, I mean, it seems brilliant, but like, this is obviously you know, like he could have brought in the, you know, you've actually spent a lot of time there in the last two months. Like, what's been happening? He's like, well, she's asked me to hang out, and like that would have been nice to add that backstory in of him saying, you know, I've been noticing you two together.
Yeah, I thought he was appropriately used though. I need advice on women. Well, you're asking the wrong person. Don't ask me. I mean, that's just the quick summation of the scene.
I'm just going to laugh awkwardly at you for 14 minutes because I don't know jack shit, Data.
Yeah.
And I know you'll know, and so you'll never know. Oh. Poor LeVar. He's so nice.
Oh, yes. So anyway, then he talks about how he's researched different historical romances. And she's like, why'd you do that? Well, 6 weeks ago when you broke up, I thought it was the perfect time to, you know, explore that aspect of human reality, of intimacy. And it's my responsibility as your friend to be supportive. And she's like, oh, that's really sweet.
And it does start off more... I understand why she is attracted to the care and attention at the start, because he's just being him and he cares about people in the abstract. If you're in his circle, he will put effort in because, as we learn later on, he can do 19 things at the same time. So he did that research while you break up with Jeff and was done by the time you came to talk to me about it. Like, you know what I mean? So he's same all with all the crew. But obviously when it becomes less organic is him trying. Him not trying is key. That's why Data's funny, because he's a fish out of water. If he's trying to be funny, he's not so as funny.
Shauna Sullivan, though, €2. Only ever one torpedo prop made as Spock's coffin, and they reused it multiple times. That's interesting.
Which I love. I mean, I love the continuity of the same torpedo. I don't even mind. Obviously, made more in Enterprise because they have a whole torpedo bay.
But, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, it's a really good design. Yeah. I think we do see a stack in one of the other shows, but that was they're just hollow shells.
Yeah. Olivia Julius, $5.
Thanks.
Is that the TMP LCARs in the background behind her? No. You see those throughout the ship. There's actually some on each of the front forward stations on the bridge, to the lower left of Data and the lower right of the helm. It's just blue and green. It's the same colors as the motion of the movie era, but you see holdovers of that all over the ship. In different areas, so not an LCARS from the motion picture era, no, just the same colors.
And in fact, we're doing interiors for fan films, work with Tim Davies, they're isolinear chips, and that's how they happen to be. They're just functional. They're in the shuttles, they're in all sorts. They're like all throughout. Very, very standard. Well,
yeah. Shauna Sullivan, €2.
Thank you.
Coffee spiller was three-breasted woman in Total Recall. Somebody in the other chats, or someone in the chat, said it was hot chocolate that she spilled on the captain. Tiburon $5.
Thank you.
Data knows more about dating humans than the Forge. The Forge knows more about dating artificial life than Data.
That is great.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
But anyway, they do a luminosity test. They launch a torpedo, and you got a great shot of the Enterprise with the nebula, and then it flares up. And she's like, "Oh, it's like when I watched fireworks when I was a kid." And she like starts staring at Data. It cuts to the title sequence. So, aw,
yes,
sweet.
There's a good like half a dozen. I'm going to say something really special. Look at you. Because he cares, but not in an active way. And you would think after the 9th or 10th of those, you realize like I actually said out loud during one of the scenes, like, you get as much out of Data as you put in. So if you tell him to talk to you back in every story, he would.
Mm-hmm.
But don't expect anything to happen organically, because that's the point. And that's just an example. So she's projecting. The whole thing she's projecting. Although it's probably worth mentioning at this point, I couldn't help but think in the entire episode, the Orville episode did it best. And now going back to the TNG one, Orville still did it much, much better. The Isaac episode with Dr. Lady. Like,
oh, yes.
Much better. I mean, that was the absolute epitome of that version. But it also had been teased for multiple episodes. Like, that was obviously built up. But like that was like top level. And this does not even get close to that. But they can't, because Data is not going to change. And he can't. So they're kind of locked in the whole syndication style, whereas that's their plan to go to. And so I'm just saying out of the way, Orville did do it better. But
yes, it's essentially the same episode. This one just scratched the surface. Yeah. The Orville one, actually,
yeah, hole and won it, yeah, or home run it, yeah.
Then we get the little recital thing in 10 forward, and it's perfectly used Keiko. I gotta say, I don't like the character and had no issues with her at all here. Perfect.
And I like the fact that they invented this new alien. Just there you go, done. Like in the band. You don't often see aliens in full makeup and like a headdress in the uniform. Like normally it's aliens that are onto the ship. Humans are normally in uniform. I thought it was a lovely touch. As little as it was. Yeah, no, it's a lovely little scene.
And she complains she didn't do well, and he's like, "You're getting a lot better, actually. I didn't hear much wrong." And yeah, it's nice.
I think there is definitely a turning point there where his just friendly organicness, because he actually feels really good here. Like he's being overly attentive, but in a genuine way, because it's about a technical thing, so he understands it. But like there's a sliding scale where she's now putting more in than he is, and then it goes the wrong way. But I think it's a really lovely little moment, because he is actually being quite complimentary in a very logical way, and it's actually quite complimentary. Although I was a bit annoyed that no one can come and talk to them. It's like such a big deal of O'Brien like, "Keiko, I love you," and they just like sound like no one's gonna say. I'm just gonna sit down then awkwardly. Like I was waiting for some boy to say, "Oh, Commander, good job," and a good job, episode, person of the episode. You know what I mean? It's a recital. At least someone say hi and well done. Come on. I was a little bit annoyed by that, I'll be honest. A little bit annoyed. Support your crew.
I wasn't annoyed by it, but I did sense that there was something missing there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's like that moment after a play and you're clapping and it's like, oh, so we can go now, I guess. But they're still. Okay, I guess we'll go. Or that one time in Vegas, if you recall, at the first time I bought a drink and the guy expects a tip, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. And the drink's like $19 and I have to give him a $4 tip, and I look at you and I'm unhappy about this. Because he's waiting for it. I'm like,
I don't make the
do
rules.
Anything. It took you 12 and a half, it took 15 seconds and no effort. You do not deserve a tip. You do not deserve a tip. Do a good job, you get a tip. Now the guy at the top bar, he did talk to me and he was polite and nice. He got money. They had to be the way, but he was nice. But also he's in the rich bar thing, so he's allowed to be. Hello. I'm done.
I hear this every time he comes over here.
It's a stupid restaurant. You know it's stupid. You know it's stupid.
It is. People that do good jobs should get tipped. Unfortunately, it's just kind of status quo, especially in the States, because they don't make a lot of money, their servers. But that's okay. I don't control the rules over there. I just know what's expected. That's all.
Well, I guess you could argue we also run on tips because YouTube doesn't pay us enough. Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, that's absolutely the same analogy. Yeah.
But we work for our tips. We don't just pour you. We don't just say we like this episode. 6 out of 10.
This episode. It's great. Please tip us $300.
Yep. And we'll just sit here looking at you until you I have one time too. But that was because he was quick. I was still processing and he was quick. Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, then we get the scene again with Keiko and O'Brien, and it's actually a cute little scene. The two of them are just newly married, and it's fun. She talks about the socks and how
it's a good story. It's got a great payoff.
And it's totally relatable in relationships. Yeah. But anyway, and then she's like latched onto Data, and that thing about my quarters being messy. Tell the story. I just said you had an aversion to tidiness. It's so funny.
But then he does do the joke spinner nut. He is cogent enough to say whatever he says at the end and wink. So he does actually make a full joke out of it, which is actually quite... See, he does better at the start and does worse the further he goes.
Because O'Brien says, in a very good job she does of it too. And he's like, it's like, yeah, that's great. That's perfect.
He's actually doing well for a certain amount of time. But I thought that story was brilliant. I had no idea where the story was going with Keiko and Miles, because you assume it's normally men are pigs, end of story. But the fact that he won that is quite satisfying, I'll be honest. It's like, hey, I'm not going to pick him up. I work hard on this day. I stand there day after day while you're not a teacher yet, you're a botanist, while you botany every day. Whereas I beam people. Although both the acting is great, though.
Yes. It's very natural. It's very natural, especially from O'Brien and Keiko. It just feels like they're a couple.
Yeah, they lucked out. And what a weird, like, you can imagine the actress of Keiko, obviously getting married in a show is quite cool, and you would think that implies a bit more importance. But to get hired just to just tell a story in essence, but because you're part of the fabric of the show, you get hired. That's brilliant. They value the world enough to do that. It's great. That's what it should be.
I keep waiting for Keiko to say, "I'm a trophy wife," and O'Brien to turn around and say, "What contest in hell did I win?"
Oh, damn!
Steel Bat puts in 10 pounds.
Oh, hey.
I'll tip you guys. Do a great job. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. And
That
Olivia
was
Julius also $5. Here's a tip for Samuel. I'll give Foley a tip if we get to see the puggy. Well, she's comfortable, and I'm not going to disturb my pet because she's needs to be seen on TV. Or that's not TV, on the internets, on the webs. Oh my shit! I just aged myself immensely. I'm a TV celebrity. I mean, we were on Inner Space twice.
That's true, and I was on TV in the UK 5 times. So
yes, Stargate stuff. Yeah.
Well, actual TV, that was an online thing, but yeah, actual TV as well.
Look at you being all fancy.
Yes. I mean, I had no choice. I was dragged by my parents, but I mean, would I choose no? No. So I was there. But yeah.
All right, so up to the bridge, and we're getting some. Basically, they want to go explore to see if there's a Class M planet in the nebula and how dark matter would have affected life forms that evolved there. So they find a Class M planet, and they head towards it, all while doing all their regular research and scanning along the way, which. Great. That's what the Starfleet is about, exploring, and this is really great. For some reason, this episode kept reminding me of Bridge Crew, even though there's no real.
So there's Klingons in this dark matter nebula. What?
There's a lot of scanning of things in that game, and this for some reason this episode just reminded me of that. I'll probably play that tonight, guys. By the way. So.
No, I like it. It feels incredibly pure Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like, incredibly down the middle. But what's nice, everyone gives a little bit of personality. Like, Patrick is professionally curious, but he's not he's clearly busy with other stuff. But Riker, every time he's in it, he kind of gives a bit of extra, little bit of, oh, I'm interested. So I like the vibes of everyone. Like, it's still definitely the B story, like the hardcore low, B with a little b. But it feels relatively intriguing. Although I do think the payoff to why things are moving, it's like, why would it doesn't quite connect. It feels more like an alien is walking around. I was waiting for the alien to be walking around who's invisible, and then it's like, oh, it's not. It's just like space gas that's moving stuff. I don't know. Wasn't quite as good a payoff as I thought they were setting up, but whatever.
Yeah. Speaking of, we get the first indication something's wrong with Crusher. She walks past the table. Here's something fall. It's a hypo spray. Like, oh, that's weird.
Bye, Crusher. Thanks for joining. Thank you for you did that good.
You earned your paycheck for the week. Good job. Mark Lawrence, $5. Hi all. I just dropped in while at work. By the way, anyone else gotten into the Voyager documentary Indiegogo?
Oh yes.
They've blasted past all their goals, and Mark's thinking of doing the away mission thing. He was messaging me earlier, where he gets to hang out with some of the cast. Yeah, if you guys are interested, there's an Indiegogo for the Voyager documentary, so go check it out.
Yeah, put in $50 before they hit their day one stretch goal to say they could, and obviously I want to see how far their stretch goals go. Bit of a simpler looking campaign, their first one, which really like. This is much less professional looking, but I do think they're kind of resting on their laurels of, well, we did one, like it's incredible, so we're gonna get money either way. Yeah. But since pandemic makes things a little bit harder, I'm guessing they're not committing to a more elaborate thing until they knew if they were going to get money or not. And now they've got 29 more days to make as much money as they can. Now they're going to start to say, oh, now we can afford to get the entire cast to do something fun, etc. Because they kind of, a little bit basic, but yeah, donate if you can. But it was always going to get its goal though. Like it was never not going to.
Yeah.
So good for them.
Now we get another shot of the torpedo bay room, which is great. It's actually a really cool looking room. I like it. I think it's great.
Yeah, the interactive lighting is, you can know it's a blue tinted room, but it only hits certain angles. The rest of it's normal, so it's a nicely done, well thought out thing.
Yeah. She's talking about her family and growing up and how they didn't spend a lot of time together after her dad died, and how I wish we could go back there, Data, you and I. It's like, holodeck time.
Damn.
Created on the holodeck.
That's true. That's true. And it definitely feels like a little bit silly, this scene. It's one scene too early. Especially, you can imagine she should be busy. She's obviously not busy. It would be kind of nice. I would like it more if the scene set up with her walking back in and he says, oh, Jenna, I thought you were off duty. She says, yeah, but I just want to hang out. And he's like, I would welcome the company. Like, that intro would be great. This feels a bit more like he would notice she's not. They also go a whole superior officer card later. Like, he wouldn't be as fine with her not doing the, slight narratively different, but yeah.
She's like, I'm going to be leaving if that's fine with you. Permission granted. And then she gives him a kiss, which I find very inappropriate.
Oh, yeah.
That, he's her commanding officer.
Just played the commander card. You just played it. You don't mac out as soon as you play that card.
Yeah. Don't know if you know this, but you're very handsome. Not as handsome as the Pogo guy, but
which is fine because it's not me. So.
See, I was leading up to this joke with that thing earlier, but did that pay off? I don't know.
But yes,
no.
But it is interesting though to see how much she's almost brilliant. There's something slightly off about her performance that doesn't quite, But I think she also is dealing with an emotional, so she has to. It's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to do as a scene. Although, this is at this point you're like, oh, she's projecting so hard right now. And, like, he's not giving enough. Yeah. It's hard. They couldn't do too much more setup, but they needed one more moment, That's what I said.
But then Guinan. It's in the drink.
Yes. Would you have said that was a passionate kiss? Because he tells Guinan, he gossips. Because he did have horny Tasha, who I'm sure would start a scale on passion, and she was horny for him. So I wouldn't necessarily. But I mean, he is.
Well, she went for the peck on the cheek, and then the follow up with the touching his chin and stuff. So I don't know. I think in his mind, maybe.
It's a sliding scale.
I would say romantic, more romantic than passionate.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of a difference there.
Big difference, yeah.
I never even really considered that with the way you said it to Guinan. I love Guinan's reaction though, and but no, every time I hear this line, I think of bad things because my mind is in the gutter.
Well, remind us then, Stuart. Let us relive this moment with you, this epic moment of gloriness.
Lieutenant
Give me this morning glory, or this evening glory.
Jesus Christ. Lieutenant Desora just gave me what could be considered a very passionate kiss in the torpedo bay. So many things come to mind. Ooh. So many. I don't know. That's just me. I still feel like I'm in high school and act like it every day. So I'll be young forever.
She kissed my torpedo casing.
Yes, she did.
And I fired. I full spreaded all over her.
That's awful.
If that doesn't deserve a super chat, tip me for my full throttle torpedo joke.
Well, I do like Guinan's reaction. She's like, and he's like, she's a good officer and all that, and I don't know. Do you have any advice? And she's like, it's the first romance, first love thing. I shouldn't be giving you advice. You should learn this stuff on your own. I like it. I like Guinan. I really do. Her character's great. I wish she was in it a little bit more, but at least she didn't replace Counselor Troy this week. A lot of times when Guinan's in it, it's like, hey, that was a Counselor Troy scene, but we got Guinan this week, or we got Whoopi, so we're going to use Guinan.
No, every time. It's like
not every time. I'd say a good 90% of the time.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, and it just reminds me, like I said, of she's not been here the rest of the season really. Like there's a although I do like they start with a bartending joke, and I really had wished. Again, they almost hit a few nails, hole-in-ones. I wish when she says it too sweet, says, I would guess so. Like, he needed that one more line, showing, he can understand fructose levels. Because I thought I was almost there. But even the way, the scene set up, the fact that, he's not human, but his instinct is to go to the bar and talk to a bar person. And even the way he moves and slide to the bar is what we all do at a bar. It's a very well directed scene. It's all the subtext of a real thing, but Brent still plays it straight from here. But the body language is different, and so it's a lovely little. It's very well constructed.
Interesting you mentioned that because I was wondering why exactly he went down to 10-4. Was he looking for advice from Guinan specifically? Because we know later that goes to less than 1% of the crew,
but only less.
So, yeah. So it was his first instinct after that to just head down and talk to Guinan. That's interesting. It wouldn't be what I would think he would do. I think he would go talk to Geordi first.
And this is yeah. Well, he's probably actually working right now because of the working on the ship. But that's why I think there's that. I really wish there was slightly more, data pushing the boundary a little bit more, because it feels like such a. He knows somewhere in his programming that this is the right person to talk to, because she turned up for work today finally after 3.5 months of being in a hat shop, picking which hat to wear. Because boy, this episode, the hat bobbles. I've never noticed it before, but the hat bobbles this week. It's a bobbly hat, very very bobbly. But I just love the body language here. It's a very and even the unnecessary joke of don't look at me, don't look at me, Dana. No.
Yeah.
Very gentle moment, but adds a little bit, which I like.
Olivia Julius, $5. Thanks for making me LOL, Stuart. Here's a tip for Samuel. Why does he always get the... What did I LOL you with? Yeah, then we get I like this scene of the Enterprise with the backdrop of the nebula. Interesting lighting, kind of a soft effect.
Yes. Yeah, they always use that when they... I think that's the same shot they did when they go into the space docks, because there's spotlights hitting the secondary hull slightly. I think that's the same thing. So it's close enough, which it is. Yeah, for sure. And this is definitely this is a weird little moment, I think.
Yeah,
it's meant to be fair, but
wandering the corridor 2 sections away. I wish you would have said 2 decks down.
Oof.
Because something happened in the wall. The cat, I know cats. They don't just oh look, something happened. I'm going to run through it. They sniff and investigate. We've seen, and every time we see the dark matter do its thing, it's pretty quick. So it'd be better if the cat was like embedded in the wall or something. But anyway, but the mystery of how did it get out? The door's only set to open for people. And there's a nice little process here. Maybe I should alert security that something's going on.
Red alert! The cat got out!
Who let the cats out? Meow, 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 meow.
Dark matter.
Yeah. Then he asks Geordi for advice about a personal matter. Talks about the Jenna, and I thought she was back with Jeff Arton. Anyway, my advice is don't ask for advice from me. Ask for advice from somebody who actually gives advice. So,
yes, ask advice from somebody that knows how to give advice on. Yes. Yeah, and I know it's the first time seeing the cats, but it does feel a little bit random, especially as. So what? Geordi was just walking to. Like, there isn't a sense of he's coming to see Data. It feels so like, oh, happenstance, I bumped into your cat 2 away. It would have been nice if they'd agreed to meet up now to ask for advice, and then he says, by the way, I found your cat. So there's a slight randomness of it, which doesn't quite sit well to me. I don't know, it's a bit, I don't know. Like, it could have been fun, like you say, if the cat had phased through the floor, and engineering. That could have been kind of fun. You know, you could have taken it further.
Considering where Data's quarters are, that wouldn't work. But
no, okay. For sure. But neither would him being like 2 doors away.
The end of the 10 forward scene should have been Geordi saying, Data, can I see you for a second? It's like, something's up. And then, he goes and meets him. Yep. I found your cat. What the hell?
Yep.
That would make more sense, I think.
Yep. No, yeah. Again, all these scenes are very close. They're just missing. But you wouldn't know they're missing that until you got into the edits. Because they're sort of the functional connective tissue stuff. But I mean, as a reason to force LeVar in the scene, it's fine. You know, okay, here we go. And yeah, his reactions are brilliant. Although, it does feel a bit odd that Guinan just said, don't ask for advice for your first love, and then he asked everyone for advice. So it feels a little bit odd that he's saying that, but, I mean, he doesn't know any better. He literally doesn't know any better, so it's fine. Yeah.
Eugene, 100 rubles. Never got the feeling the cat missing had anything to do with dark matter, just sloppiness. It's clear the way they presented that the dark matter phased out the wall and the cat walked out into the hallway.
Or like the dark matter tripped the sensor and took it up and the door was open for 4 seconds.
That makes more sense, actually. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, it's a sensor, isn't it? So the sensor gets tripped. Although because they don't need. Like, you can walk in anyone's quarters. His quarters weren't locked. So it's kind of a trust thing. Well, I really thought at this point, and again, I didn't remember where they were going with all the small things. I thought the cat got out because the soon-to-be girlfriend went in, did something, and they would say, oh, whatever her name is was in your quarters. And he's like, and the Forge would be like, huh? He's like, ah.
That would have worked too.
And she didn't know he had a cat because they never mentioned it because they never talk about him. Because she just talks about her own family all the time. Never talk about me, Jenna. Never talk about me. I've got a cat. Oh.
Sean O'Sullivan, €2.
Thank you.
Should we be cancelled for assuming Spot's gender? Well, Spot's gender changes on the regular. Sometimes it's a boy, sometimes it's a girl. So.
Well, it's always a boy canon cat. It's just not always a boy.
Until it has
canon.
babies.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, they.
And that's the crux of the episode. That's what saves the day because they find out that the kittens weren't affected because of the.
So they're saying it's actually a trans cat then.
And it's an alien cat.
I mean, that makes more sense for sure.
It's Jurassic Park.
Meow.
Life will find a way.
Meow. Now, speaking of, I like this scene with Deanna. I really, really wish, and again, these are more like I wish to add one more level of depth. I wish she'd said, I've never had you in here before. Wait, that sounds too dirty. I've never counselled you, Data. This feels odd. Does a counsellor? Like, you know what I mean? Because it's such a nice, like, she's really asking for a real problem. And she's really giving a real answer. Like, I love that. You never see that. So I love it. And in her office. Which was one more level. But it's good, otherwise. Well, she's very serious. It doesn't feel as... It feels more professional Troy than even Marina Sirtis. Like, she's very channeling.
especially considering last week it was like, Jordy, did you have sex on Ryza? Tell me the story. She seems like, I
That's
guess
true.
she's in professional mode right now because he came to her professionally. She's like,
Yeah.
she's not doing the gossip thing. She's very, and I like the way she approaches it. You know, she's not part of your experiment. She's a person. She has feelings. You don't want to hurt her. I like the way it's approached. But at the same time, yeah, it kind of goes against what we saw last week with the whole gossip. Tell me the gossip.
And
Data getting kissed by this girl, you think would be like juicy gossip for the ship, you know?
But she's the only one that actually brings this up. Like, this is not really fair on her, unless, like, I mean, she says it brilliantly. I can't say it better, really, honestly. But at least they say it. But it takes until Riker to say, but she knows that you're not going to feel the same way, and she's making the choice. Which does, unfortunately, double down on she's not thinking straight. It's because she's in rebound, crazy lady mode. So she's not mental. You know what I mean? It's a bit of a, when you realise how weird it is, it's a little bit less nice of an episode.
Yeah, but I mean, the going to everybody that he knows for advice is awesome. The next one's Worf, and it's like, we don't pursue relationships, we conquer. By the way, she's under my, on my team essentially. If anything happens to her, and I just waited. I was waiting
Understood.
I was waiting for Data to be like, "Are you serious right now? I could rip your fucking arms off and beat you to death with them. So what are you gonna do?"
Worf, you're already dead to me. By the time you hurt me, you're already dead. Don't start on me.
Yeah, it's just the way he, like, if she was mistreated, I would be very displeased.
And they just say, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for, especially when he goes back and gets right in his face. Instead of saying, I understand, it should be like, what you gonna do about it? Walk away.
Bring it. I love that. I didn't consider that. No, I can imagine, like I say, Patrick knows his friends, he knows his cast. They really all get one thing. He gave them all a thing, except Beverly, which is annoying, but fine. And everyone has, they can say they're beaming within, because they're all so in character, and that's rare. So this is a lovely moment from Worf for sure. And I like the fact that it grounds her, because normally they're just people in the ship, but she's actually a tactical specialist, which you don't get a sense early on. That's why
she's security.
Yeah, that's why she's working on Torpedo, because she's the security. He's the engineer. Yep. She's security. And she's actually a tactical later for no reason, which I love. For one moment, she just is.
Yeah, and then later in her quarters, they're like, we scan the entire ship for whatever.
Yeah,
because she's security. Like, that's the job.
Yeah, so. They keep deepening a character for no real reason. Like they don't need to, but I love that. And that, you don't expect that. Like, little lady under Worf, brilliant, love it. Which shows, she's maybe she could take on Data, No, it's actually.
But speaking of being in character,
I
think you should pursue it. It's great, Data. Like, this is so Riker and his off time. He's like, yeah, she's a beautiful woman. You never know. I'm excited for you to be experiencing these things because you never know how far it can go. Sure, you're putting yourself and your feelings on the line, but it's worth it if it works out. And it's just this big shit-eating grin on his face, like, yeah, I hope you get to see how far it goes.
Do you think they just filmed him chatting to somebody else while not on camera? And they just used the take. Right? No, we got it, Jonathan. What?
It's just at the catering table.
Yeah, I wasn't acting. Exactly. We just told you about a beautiful woman that I'm dating. Oh, all right. No, I agree. He's glowing. He's fucking glowing, and it's kind of embarrassing a little bit, like how glowing he is. Like, he likes women. He's a ladies' man, and he's like, dude, bro. You got this. I believe in you, Robot Man. I believe in you. If you can whistle, you've got this. Yeah, they had fun with that. You can tell.
Area 51, $2, no comment, but thank you so much.
It is a comment, though. It's a comment of support.
It is. And then the next scene is fantastic.
Oh.
Comes up behind Picard. Sir. Oh, shit. Neither I know. I've heard. Yeah. Once I know something about women, I'll let you know. Bye. It's great. It's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
it's almost embarrassingly good. In the Patrick was like, right, I want the best scene of this. Can we just make 2 quick changes to the script? And everyone's like, oh, that's brilliant. He's like, yeah, I know. I'm director. I get some say here. Yeah, he's not used very much, but when he is, he it's a mic drop moment, you know. Though that said, though, this is one of those times that the Red Letter Media people pointed out that Data is not like a son to him. They're not best friends. You know, Data dies once, and Picard deals with it in that episode. You know? Like, he's not going to talk to Data about love because he doesn't want to. No offense to Data. Like Picard overdid it in Star Trek Picard. I know he's senile, but this is more true to their relationship. It's like, mate, I get it, and I'm out.
Area 51 said where's my comment? There was supposed to be a comment. Don't know what happened. Well, Area 51, just put it in the regular chat and we'll read it out.
Yeah, that's all right.
Sorry about that. That happens sometimes. So.
But what do you think about that briefly as a comment?
Just refresh my memory real quick.
Oh, Star Trek Picard, how he's not actually like a son to him in the context they think.
But there's also another 3 years of stuff after this as well. But yes, I do see what you're saying. I do see what they were saying. I just don't like the way they went about it. Red Letter Media, I don't always agree with their choices. Put it that way. But yeah, I can see why they would say that. And this was the dad avoiding the discussing something with their son moment. Like, I don't want to do this right now, because that's also a thing. So
I get that, or I get that. I just think it's more, I'm not here for that.
Go talk to your mom. She's down in this. She needs more lines this episode. She's down in sick bed.
Oy. Yeah.
You think that she would have been offering some advice, because she's got Wesley, who's 17, 18 at this point. He's probably had this problem.
Whatever
with
you
girls.
do, if you have a kid with another man, don't tell the first man that it's his. Sorry, who are you referring to, Doctor? Nothing. Her confession tape.
Olivia Julius, $5. Don't worry, Cap. I believe in you. Here's a tip for Samuel. Aw, thanks.
Thanks. That's so confusing. Oh dear.
So we get the second officer's log where he says he's reached a decision, and he takes the flowers down to see her, and of course her apartment is disgusting. But anyway, yeah, he starts tidying up, and she's like, I know I'm hopeless. There, and she puts them on the table, and it's a really nice moment. And then he ruins it. Of course he does. Commander Riker suggested this particular flower. He said it worked for him in the past.
But she doesn't necessarily anything at that. Lots of these things go right past her a little bit.
Well, if you listen to the way that's worded, it's like, oh yeah, it got him lucky. He got him laid before. It's like, damn. And then the hug, doing this like he's a kid. I don't know. It just.
But let's be fair though. Riker is aiming to go to a planet and have a nice time with some random lady.
Yeah.
So of course, if it worked, then that's a success. It's the aim of that game.
And then she's like, "Did you talk to everybody about our relationship?" No, less. In actuality, less than 1% of the crew was involved. Oh, okay, good.
And you can tell the penny hasn't dropped. Is like, but if there's 1,000 people. Data. Wait, what? Data. There's a lot of people. There's so many people. Yes.
Let's see. Area 51. Riker's advice. Dude, get some. Smiley face. And Olivia says, check YouTube chat. Okay, I will.
And I definitely really like how they did her quarters. Very, I was wondering, flowers are
Got
nice.
It, Olivia.
Huh?
Got it, Olivia. It was just Area 51's comment.
Nice. But I like the personality. Clearly, she likes flowers. That's kind of obviously the one thing she has. But I like how much color, and they do a good job in making those things feel different every time. So good job for them. And yeah, the hug's brilliant, or lack thereof.
Well, and then the whole new program, and she's like, "So I'm just a small variable in your new computational environment." He's like, "No, you're a very, very large part. I have a specific part of the program written just for you, devoted considerable amount of my internal resources to its development." It's like, oh, that's kind of sweet, I guess. And she's like, "Oh, Data, that's the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me." I'm like, "Oh, that is fucking sad."
That's exactly what I said out loud.
You need to get out more.
Yeah, that says more about you, unfortunately.
Oh, yes.
But yeah. You know, she's not thinking straight. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
But you know, he is trying as much as he can try. He is trying. It's just he can try only in a synthetic way, and that's the crux of it. You know, he is trying, but he can only do so much. And the fact that she's allowing it to progress with all the red flags, it's like, yeah.
Well, it's not really red flaggy yet. It's like
it's real close. It's real close, though.
But later it gets like serial killer, really creepy.
It gets Brent Spinery.
Yeah. But before that, we get the.
Oh dear. Sorry, Brent. We love you.
Mr. Worf, can you come in here and bring a tricorder? And Worf's like, that's kinky. He's never asked for a tricorder before. Anyway, sir, did you? No, I did not, Mr. Worf. What the?
No.
Anyway,
just like the murder inquiry, he had to ask all potential suspects. Stuart, he knows Starfleet procedure.
True.
Sorry,
like, I don't know
counted.
how anybody. Yeah, I don't know how anybody could get in here. Go to red alert. The card's like, no. I think this is a precautionary thing. Let's just keep an eye out for things. But that's a little unnecessary. Well, I'll post the guard. No, it's fine. Nice little scene, and so all the shit fell off his desk.
High alert time.
Mystery.
But it does give you that slight bit of context of, oh no one goes in here unless the captain's here.
Yeah, I wish Livingston was on the floor flopping around. How'd the fish get out?
Oh dear.
You gotta think how lucky the ship has been so far, and they mention that later. Yeah, if one of these things passed through like the antimatter storage or something, like we would have been destroyed. So they're pretty lucky considering how big the ship is, how many crew there are, and they don't mention any other really mysterious reports of what's been going on. So, it's fine.
No, it's a very weird chemistry scene, but again, like,
maybe we have a poltergeist.
Yeah,
sir. Mischievous spirit, sir. Perhaps not.
Yeah, this is the scene that you only get from two people knowing each other and the comedic timing,
Yeah,
and it's two straight men as well. Like neither of them are playing it for jokes, but both are playing it for jokes. That's the genius of it.
Yeah.
No, it's actually a really surprisingly good scene, and it does make you wish you had more of these pure, tiny, cheap character moments, because they're worth their weight in gold press platinum, which is currently valueless. But soon, at some point, it'll become valuable when they decide gold is worth something.
Oh, yes. Now we get the, he's painting. She comes in with this little sculpture thing, which is kind of cool, actually. And he analyzes it and says,
Hold on. No. Beep, beep. Come in. Just walks in. Do you just want to point that out?
True. Yeah, and soon he walks into her quarters as well.
So there's already a freeness there. Just a small thing.
She even said, "Sorry to surprise you," and he's like, "Yeah, I wasn't expecting until 1900 hours. Like, apparently they have a date later." She's like, "I couldn't wait." And she had to bring him this. So,
sorry.
And he's like, "Is this an attempt?" No, that's fine. Is this an attempt to, spruce up my place because it's kind of Spartan? Oh, the cat's out of the bag. Spot? What? No.
I think they just invented a cat for that joke. Because they didn't have a cat before this.
Probably. But yeah, he kind of overanalyzes it. You know, it's fluid yet whatever, blah blah blah. And she's like, "Yeah, don't let me interrupt. Go back to your painting." Yeah, sure. This is one thing that drives me nuts with women. Is, Data. The Book of Love, Chapter 4, Paragraph 17. When a girlfriend arrives with a gift, stop whatever you're doing and give her your undivided attention. I expected the next words out of his mouth to be like, "Where's this book? Because I would like to read it. I didn't come up in my research." That would have been funny. Come on now. He's like, "I shouldn't have resumed painting." She's like, no, you shouldn't.
Or he should have quoted it back to her, and then she says, but the custom Jenna edition, paragraph 14, subsection 3. Like they could have.
Now you're getting into Robin Loeffler shit.
Yeah.
All of her rules, and she's got like the.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. But.
Yeah, they never say what they want or what they mean. It's frustrating for sure.
Anyway.
And it's like, he's gonna take things literally. Like, that's on you. 100% on you. You know? But at least he knows at least we know he's not gonna get insulted by it. Because he's just like, oh, okay. Although, last note, I found this a little bit funny. Of all the things she picked, she says to spruce up the place and like brighten it up. You're picking a translucent glass one color item to brighten up his apartment. He has lovely paintings. This is not going to brighten it up. Less Spartan, sure. Why is it not colourful and bright and lovely?
Well, when he puts it on first he puts it on a little ledge thing and says, "Looks good here," and she's like, "Nah." And he's like, "Okay, maybe more central location." She puts it on the table, and then he should have flicked a switch and it'd be like disco lights flashing out of it.
And it's funny because it does look good in both locations, but it gets lost on the glass instantly because it's also glass. Like, it looks like, why is it not colourful?
He is right though; it does catch the light really well.
It really did in the other place, yeah.
And it looked really good there, but she's like, eh.
But that was better acting. That was like he had to work it out from her. I just find it odd. Like, of all the things she picks the least visually colourful item possible. It's interesting from a art perspective, but it's not bright and colourful. That's the whole point.
Olivia Julius, $5. They had a cat in Data's day. Here's a tip for the puggy, and she's absolutely right. A spot. It was quite a big part of Data's Day episode. So.
Okay, good. I've watched it. I don't remember it again. Damn it. Okay, good. Second time. Now, when she walks out of the office, when she walks out of his room, you get a sense at the start she's like, yeah, he's not responding to me like I'd like. And then she does smile. I'm kind of confused by her emotions there. Because now we're halfway and it started to turn, not going quite as well as she's expecting.
I don't know, because here's the whole, you go back to your painting, he's like, oh, is this really for real? Yeah, yes, Data.
Which is cute. That's good. That's cute.
And then I'll see you later tonight. That's what they said. So, like, they had a date for 1900 hours. And then, yeah, it's kind of like, oh, he's so cute. Look at how, and you know how women are. I'll change him. He'll be fine.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just a cute little moment, and I can see why she'd kind of smile. So I don't have an issue with that, really.
I'm just kind of on the fence. Like, it's starting to go a bit odd because his initial chemistry isn't as there anymore. I don't know. You know,
he blew her a kiss too, and it was kind of like an innocent little.
No, but the idea that she had to tell him that he was wrong and doing a thing, and then it was just the things leading up to that more than it itself. It's just the whole scene. It wasn't as organic as it could have been because he's not organic, etc., etc.
Yes. Then we get the hint of dark matter in the wall. You see some of the panels. So
things ain't going good. Look here, see.
Yeah, right. And then, Captain, you better come out here. That Class M planet. Look, it's not here. Dun dun dun. Oh, wait a minute. There, it's there. There it is. It's fine.
Yeah, why bother having that as a 1-second mystery?
I don't know. It was a commercial break moment. It's like, the planet's not here.
Okay.
And then they come back from the commercial, and it's like, oh, there it is. It's fine. You guys have been worried for 3 minutes through commercials. The planet's
through
here.
4 McDonald's commercials.
Yeah.
Because they repeat the same damn commercial. Yeah, it was a weird cut, and also it doesn't mean the thing either. Like, they never reference it after this point. It's completely irrelevant. It's just to get them there.
Yeah, and to basically run a full system scan, make sure everything's fine with the ship. That's it. And then we get the atmospheric decompression. At this moment, I'm thinking, isn't it lucky that something hasn't happened to the bridge? Oh shit, yeah. By the way, the observation lounge.
And
just had a thing happen.
I was convinced that'd be an alien, like, sending a signal, like, you've now got to us. Because I didn't remember exactly where it was going to go. Like, it feels so, the way they're doing it feels alien rather than random. Something about it for me. And also, when they say, what could have made a planet disappear, it amazes me they don't say, isn't it more likely our systems were wrongly scanning than a planet disappeared in the last 2 hours? Sorry.
Well, that's what they do say. That's because he says check all our sensors.
Well,
hold on. What is the?
Okay, maybe they did, but I didn't get that sense. I was just like, it's more likely not.
Because once the planet shows up, sir, the first thing out of Picard's mouth, Mr. Data, run a full systems diagnostic. Almost like they didn't believe what they saw on the view screen. The sensors were showing them a false image. And then we get the decompression in the conference room. So, yeah, the first thing out of his mouth was run a complete diagnostic on our systems. Maybe the sensors are off, essentially. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's never really explained. Did the dark matter, is there a big enough pocket to just get rid of the planet? Like, that, it still doesn't make any sense. Because there's nothing that big when they're going through the dark matter stuff, so...
It's just a bit weird.
Yep.
It's not particularly annoying, but it gets dropped, you know. Yeah.
So I guess there's a really small hole in the hull, and before anything got to it and started getting sucked out, it just closed. Kind of cool seeing everything stacked against the window like that, actually. But, and the transparent aluminum is exhibiting a pattern of transient electrical currents. Very important, I guess. Maybe.
And it's weird no one else would scan that way. Like, none of the other things in the other places. I don't know. Although I thought the CG effect when they walked in and all the trees and stuff were all over the place, it looked so unreasonable. But you never... Like, when you do that, you realize actually it's a very bland room, but because the all the props in it move with the shape of the room, it feels elegant. Actually, it's just a simple room with stuff in it. So it's really weird. It kind of breaks the illusion a bit when you see it all. Yeah.
And I never got the sense that the table in the conference room was one that could be moved. It's just, it like you said, it fits the shape of the room. I just always felt like it was a permanent fixture, you know, built in. But no, it's fine. Yeah, it's kind of... Now for the creepy. Honey, I'm home.
And that's a cute first thing. If you're like several weeks in, it's a cute thing. But what are we 1.5 days in?
Yeah, this is definitely data vision. You'll know what I mean when you watch. First thing out of her mouth, any luck with your diagnostic? He says, negative, we found no malfunctions. So there you go. That's your diagnostic. The sensors are fine. And then she said, we did a full security sweep. Nothing. So you get both of their jobs, how their day was. Then he gets creepy. Then he gets, may I get a drink for you, dear? It's like, oh,
the unfortunate problem with this is that he's been Law, and he's just acting like a more seductive Law. You know what I mean? Like, this is Brent being more like Brent, and it's really fun to see Brent being Brent in the data makeup. And the fact that when he can swap between emotionful and emotionless, and he even does use contractions a couple of times, which is quite fun to see. Like, the fact that, like, that's how he feels off camera to everyone else all the time. And then he just puts on, like, he acts. It's like Tilk from Stargate, actually acting the best out of the cast probably, because that is not Brent. This is more like Brent. So it's really fun to see. Although I wish we know how long they've been dating at this point, because it feels like 2 days. Now we know she's more invested than he is, so obviously she's going to take any sort of affection well. But like, where did this come from? You know?
Well, see, I don't know if this has been a day or 2 days, because the other one starts out. She shows up in the morning. I was supposed to meet you in 1900 hours. I couldn't wait, so I'll meet you later today. So that seems almost like morning, end of our shift. We're going to have a date. And so did all this happen in that day? Is this the end of that day, or is it the day after?
I mean, they did go to a Class M planet, not at warp, in a nebula. So that probably, you could probably estimate a couple of days.
But there's no indication of time passing, and that's a flaw with the episode.
Yeah, yeah. And you could have another commander's log as well to say we'd now been traveling for 9 days. Our relationship has progressed quite quickly.
Yes, they needed something before he walked in on the home. That was just weird.
I know it would have ruined the reveal, but they definitely needed him to say like that log and say, I have now, because of how well the relationship is progressing, I have evolved my program to a more heightened state of romantic engagement. Because it feels so abstract. Why is he suddenly gone like this? And if he can do this, why is he not talking more freely more of the time? It's like, when you can use contractions, why are you not using contractions? Well,
it's the same thing comes up with Yoda. If Yoda can understand other people's speech patterns, why can't he emulate them? Why does he speak the way he does? Because if you can... I don't know.
But Data's also just a robot. He can just turn a switch in his brain.
He's not a robot, he's an android.
There we go. There we go. But you know what I mean? It's missing one scene, and considering how many scenes it's got, it's weird. It's missing one. Or like gone to Gun or Geordie again, or actually that would have been kind of fun if we had a Geordie or Data follow up, or Riker follow up, and he'd said, you know what, women like a smooth talker, a smooth talker, and he uses contractions, and he makes Data use contractions. Like, you need another hand holding scene, could have been kind of cool. I don't know. It's very out of nowhere.
Yeah, it needed more of a time jump. All right, Area 51, $2. Data, initiate LaForge simulation one. What? Oh, good God. And Eugene, 300 rubles. Fresh idea. Let Kurtzman create another Star Trek show solely about everyday life of Data and Jenna. Let's call it WandaVit. Jenna Data.
Goodness.
Well, no, the creepiness is just ramped up here. Like, would you like anything to eat, my dear? Oh, perhaps later. Oh. It's like, wow. Stop.
I don't know if I'll go as far as creepy.
It's creepy.
It's on that very, very fine line for me. It's more intensity. But the fact that she doesn't question it until she doesn't question it until he swaps between relationship Data and normal Data. Then she's like, "Oh, this isn't you normally."
She gives him 2 looks while he's being creepy. It's like when she's taking her boot off and he offers to get drinks, she's like, okay.
But they're accepting as well. Like, okay, this is fun.
The one seems very like odd, but
it doesn't feel like it's the first time he's done this though, because she's accepted it too long. Like, it's so different. You know what I mean? There's the time factor.
I kind of disagree, because even when he says put your feet up, she leans back and her look on her face is like, "What are you gonna do to me?"
And I remember
does the kiss thing, and she's like, "Okay."
See, and I remember him rubbing her feet for some reason. I don't know if you had that memory as well, but
No, I don't.
And then he goes into Mad Brent, which is a hell of a tonal shift. Oi.
Well, yeah, the thing that knocks her out of it, though, is because he's cleaning up her mess, and then he says, "Oh, by the way, I can organize your clothes and blah, blah, blah.
Shift.
I have no problem doing it." And she's like, "Oh, it's fine." You just... It's something about the way you're doing it, she says. Paying too much attention.
Well, you're not being you. I wish she'd said that. Because the fact is, and this is what Guinan said earlier, she liked you for being you, not you for being human.
Well, she just says... She does say that. She exactly says what you just said.
There you
go. Where you're not being you, she says, "Data, there's just something strange about the way you're acting."
Well, that too.
Yeah. And she says, "What's wrong with you tonight? Maybe you should run a self-diagnostic." And that's when he turns around and gets all... And then this is scary. When he's mad, it's scary. I'm sorry. "Perhaps there's something wrong with you."
Pretty much.
Don't tell me how to behave. You're not my mother. Is that not the correct thing to say? Wow. What the hell is happening right now? I'm going crazy. I took crazy pills.
Yes.
Anyway. And then he even says, as far as relationship goes, there is no relationship me. So I'm just drawing on various cultural and different sources to help define my role. So she asks, kiss me? He does. And what were you thinking? So in that particular moment, he was reconfiguring the warp field parameters, analyzing the collected works of Charles Dickens, calculating the maximum pressure he could safely apply to her lips, and considering a new food supplement for Spot. And she's like, well, glad I was in there somewhere.
Which is, sweet in its own way. Like, you were there. And I kind of wish you'd said, oh, yes, all those things only took 4% of my processing. You were taking 93.
I was comparing the kiss to Tasha.
Who? No one. What? But the whole episode, again, it reached that point where you're like, you are a delusional woman. And, we're all seeing this scenes ago. So it gets less and less nice as it goes on. Because data's just being data, unfortunately.
Fleetpaw Swiftback, $2. Never fear, Fleetpaw is here. A bit late, but meh. Well, at least you made it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Olivia Julius, $5.
Ooh.
Fleetpaw is here. What a great time to give Samuel a tip.
Yes, and guys, we're actually only $50 away from our nice minimum. So we're still plenty of time for that, which is awesome. And 28 likes, I'm going to say.
Yeah, we can hit 130.
Yeah.
Hit that like button, guys.
I mean, here right now. Just we'll wait.
I got to think.
Yeah, we should. Yeah. And 400 likes. Excellent. Good. Thank you, guys.
Fleetpaw Swiftback, $2. 100 likes, baby. Nice. Creepy data is creepy as fuck. Yes.
But good acting on Brent. Like it's again not data acting.
Yeah. So anyway, they're back on the bridge talking about the planet. There's no surprises, nothing out of the ordinary, no life forms, and there's no casualty or damage to the ship. So this is where they talk about what's here. Oh yes, we could continue the investigation outside the nebula because sitting here might cause more problems. We don't know what's going on. And it's like, agreed, plot course, warp 1, engage. And that's when Data's panel goes all sketchy. So, and then explosive decompression on deck 37. And again, another panel blows out in engineering and almost kills a guy. So, and then full stop. Yeah.
Although you would think you'd keep going, like even the way they say deck 38 is unstable. It's like that's a very small part of your ship. You can still move. Like you would focus on moving rather than staying still, where you were going to be more damaged. So I thought that was a slight. I know they don't know why they're getting damaged, but best leave while they can rather than more and more damage. What if the next damage hits the warp core? Safer to try and leave than not to try and leave, but whatever.
Well, yeah, the next scene's creepy. Well, not creepy, but memorable because he sends this lady off to go check out Jeffries 223, and he tells this other guy to come with him, and then she screams, and then she's like in the floor. I don't know why she's facing them. Like, did she turn around to say something? But anyway.
And my only annoyance with this is that they walk up to her. It's like, you understand the floor is quicksand, and if it's still unstable, you're going to die as well. So maybe don't literally get on the same bit of floor as her. You stupid fools.
I never once considered that, actually.
It plays really dumb if you think of it like that. It's like, they should have stayed at the edge and been horrified. To go up to them is really stupid. I really didn't like. Makes LaForge look dumb. Because they also just died. This is bad. And they died because they went through the floor. The floor. You idiot. But whatever. Moving on. Now, why the hell is Worf... Like, I was assuming because his officer just got killed, but it's Geordie's officer. He's, like, scowling off in another direction. It's weird. Like, if you watch him in the scene, he has no engagement, he's asked a question. It's weird.
Well, he's contemplating what the hell's happening, probably, because they had the issue with the desk and the captains. I don't know. I don't know.
Not a happy chappy right now.
No. But Data says this confirms my hypothesis. It's dark matter pockets. We can move, but we don't have enough time with the speed that we'll have to move to the sensors. We can calibrate them to detect them, but we have to get very close range. So we don't have time to move out of the way of them. So what we're going to do is a shuttle, and the shuttle is going to lead the way, and it'll basically steer the Enterprise remotely. And yeah, and this is also where Riker says it's a good thing it didn't hit, a photon torpedo casing or an antimatter containment pod, because like when you think about what's actually happening right now, that's pretty sketchy. Like some crazy stuff could happen. So
their luck is all hell.
Absolutely.
But it is also a giant ship, so the percentage chance of anywhere dangerous is also very low relative to the ship.
The thing is too, there's a pocket. Your ship's moving. If you go through the pocket, everything you'd see like shit falling off shelves because it'd be traveling. They do say that the dark matter is moving as well, but they're not saying it's appearing and then disappearing, which they should have said. They're indicating that it's moving. So they're moving, the dark matter is moving. But how did it hit Data's console on the bridge without going through the front of the view screen, without going to the top of the ship or something like, you know what I mean? So.
Well, we don't ever get a sense of scale because you see the same graphic for the ship and for the shuttle, which are absurdly different scale. So that doesn't tell you anything. They're just, estimations, whatever. My assumption is that the dark matter, when it touches actual matter, gets discharged as out of phase, it undoes its own ness. And because it's already phasing in and out, it doesn't necessarily phase until a certain point. And ships moving quite quickly, it just, phased in, phased out. Oh my god, I phased in now, to this part of the ship. It's not a pocket of always phasing constant matter. It's very random. So it's not so, not going through every single pocket is going to hurt you, but at any second in any pocket, it might activate. Okay. And any size of any pocket might hurt any portion of the ship.
I buy that.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, that explains, that helps with that. Okay.
Yeah. That's why it's so random. That's why it was so small, it phased this part of a table and one hyperspread to go through. Tiny.
But that could have been a big one that was under the table, and just the top of the bubble of it hit the top of the table. Just saying. It's like space is 3D, territories are 3D. So if you got a sphere and it hits just the top of the sphere hits the table, that's what I'm saying. Anyway, doesn't really matter.
One last thing I was thinking in this scene, I know I was pulling from the Orville, but without realizing it, I was waiting for the moment when Data makes a mistake and they call him out on it because he's preoccupied, he apologizes. A portion of his runtime is thinking about the lady. Because he's never, Orville guy was phased. He actually was hurt by his own emotions or lack thereof. Data is completely unfazed by the lady and what's happening in his relationship. So all that there's no connective tissue in the A and the B plot in that, and it should have had some. And so you understand why, it's meaningless in the grand scheme. It doesn't affect him at all, and it should have, I think, to be more powerful. I kind of thought that was coming.
I agree, and I don't at the same time.
Yeah, it's Orville territory, but it would have improved it if they could have. Yeah. Speaking of, though, she is on the bridge.
Yep, she's a tactical. And
doesn't factor in at all, but she's there. Awesome.
And it's not mentioned. She's just there.
Doing her job.
And yeah, Will's like, I'm going to do my pre-flight when I get to the shuttle. He's like, no, not today.
Not
I'm going to power the shuttle.
Yes.
This is my ship. I should do it. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It seems so out of left field. It's not his fault they're there. It's not.
Shouldn't Data do it? Because he has instant.
You can do faster count.
Yup.
Yeah.
I'm surprised no one mentioned that, and it would link more in with the A and B plot because they could have had a teary farewell with the girlfriend who's on the bridge. That would have added something. I assume that's why she was there.
Damn. Yeah. No, I agree.
I literally just think this was Patrick wants to fly a shuttle because he hasn't flown a shuttle before. I'm director. I say I want to fly it because it's just you've never said this to me, Captain. Where's this coming from? And why are you picking the shitty shuttle pod? You just had the main shuttle set 3 episodes ago. It's
That
bigger
kind of makes
and better.
sense. If they're trying to avoid the pockets, go with the smallest thing you got.
But if you need more maneuverability and more power and more shields to protect you, because that thing's a tin can. It's like, would you? Yeah, I understand that. Would you rather go on the 8? Would you rather go on the? Yeah. Would you rather go in the Apollo 13 capsule or space shuttle? One is this much metal. At least the other one has that much metal. You know. So I just think it was I guess easy to film in that day. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a set they had.
I know.
They just used it for the In the Mind's Eye Geordi episode. So.
It's true. And then you get a very doesn't quite fit, not particularly action packed, semi-successful thing. Kind of works. It's different at least.
Again, some nice shots of the Enterprise doing this, and
you see inside the nacelle. That was hella impressive.
And I love Geordi's line, the starboard impulse nacelle.
Yep.
Very important.
Because I get called out, I think we both do, for the TOS shuttles can't go at warp. But why do they have nacelles then? Impulse nacelle. Boom. There you go. Done.
And it's the shuttle pod as well. No glowy bits. It's totally different than any other of the nacelles. Yeah. The TOS one at least looks exactly like the one on the ship, so I can understand why people confuse it with warp.
Doesn't have any glowies in the remastered. Or in the original, actually. So.
That's true. And yeah, exactly. So anyway, that knocks out the automation, so he goes to manual, and
which does show he's a good pilot. I like it doesn't phase him that much. It's a good indication of how good a pilot he is.
Yeah.
Not that it's that hard a thing to do, really.
This is the second time we've seen him pilot a shuttle. Sorry. In that one, he was piloting the ship. I'm thinking Booby Trap.
Yeah, okay. He's been a pilot a couple of times, but not of a shuttle there. It's a weird scene. It doesn't quite work. And then, boy, I'm amazed by as soon as they think he dies, the reaction level. Did you get him? Did you save our captain's life?
There's even the...
We did. Okay, good. Everyone's so chill. Oh, yeah, we lost the captain. Okay, moving on.
Well, not really. I mean, the lady at helm looks at Riker like, oh no, like kind of thing, but...
Yeah, but Worf and Data have no tension. There's no, like, is he okay? Like, they're so professional, showing, you know what, people die.
I kind of liked it, though, because, but it's not the time to grieve. It's the time to do your job and get the fuck out of there.
But, it's like...
There's even like a Star Trek 4 thing here where Chekhov was supposed to be beamed out of the aircraft carrier. Scotty, now would be a good time. Picard says the same thing. He's like, now would be a good time. It actually says, now would be a good time, Mr. O'Brien.
Yeah. Still quite chill about it. Then he walks back on like a boss, like nothing happened.
A little bit dizzy, but I'm on my way.
Yeah. And then it ends. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, I like it. We're like 1,000,000 kilometers away. Just gun it. Go.
Yeah. That was
it's
nice.
Like, well, that could be really dangerous, but whatever. Just do it.
But they can scan, though. So they do know where they are, and I'm guessing there's less of them, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they escape, and cool.
And then it's the breakup scene.
And I like the candle. I like the new decor. I think that was all a nice touch. Actually. I wonder if that all continues the next episode.
I don't know. It's a good question. It should. It should.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, she breaks up with them. Because she's dated non-emotional guys before, and now she's just dated somebody that just no possibility of any kind of emotion. So she realizes she has a problem, which I kind of like. And it's one of those "it's not you, it's me" discussions.
Well, it's not you, it's me, but it's me because of you being you.
Yeah.
If you weren't you, if you were someone else in your body, then it wouldn't be me. It would be not you because I was still with you.
Yeah. And then, yeah, it ends with Spot jumping up on him. Like Spot owns him. Like that close up on the cat was just an odd choice.
It shows he can do affection to something he actually truly likes. Like that didn't feel inorganic, I think is the implication. Like, oh, he has got a living entity in his room that he cares for, that he loves, that the actor actually doesn't like at all, and he can, care for it correctly without thinking about it.
Yeah, Brent Spiner didn't like the cat.
No, hate him. That's always the clickbait article. Brent Spiner's most hated actor on set was the cat, because there's a really he always had bad times with the cat, like renownedly bad. Would often ruin filming days. Yeah, I'm surprised.
Sorry, just the clincher on this scene though is, let's see, I gotta get the exact wording here. Oh, so we're no longer a couple? No, we're not. Then I will delete the appropriate program. And she's like, okay, I'll see you later. It's like, bitch.
Well, I mean, I can't feel bad for that. It's her choice.
I know. I just wish I could delete some programs. That's all.
Yeah, it's a weird one because she feels so nervous, which is good energy, but you're not going to insult him. So, but there's that disconnect that you would be having. So it feels natural, even though it feels unnatural, because it's unnatural. Although it would have been both good and bad if she'd said, "These past 2.5 days have been the best dating of my life," like some context of time, like what if this has been 2 weeks?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
But if it had that really weird line of this last 38 hours had been a blast, then you can see it as she also rebounded and did the whole school crush thing where you have girlfriends for 4 days. Oh my god, I broke up with him. I love him so much. How long are we together? 2.5 days, and one of those was a weekend day that I didn't see him. Oh my god, I'm so sorry for you.
Just before you continue,
yeah.
Robert Westfall, yes, you're dismissed. Go do galley duty.
Yes. Yes. But I'm still intrigued by the choice that Brent made. He's very mature in the situation of responding, but obviously he's going to, and yet the data character didn't understand she's breaking up with him, because otherwise she wouldn't have to reiterate the question. You know what I mean? I like the complete cognitive understanding and yet complete discognitive understanding. To actually have to ask flat out, and she's like, "Bitch, I'm telling you in non-direct ways. It's obvious." But the way he says delete the program, there's a lovely gentle aggression there.
That's a passive aggressive. Go fuck yourself, bitch.
Yeah, and it's really well acted. It's that certain hard edge.
Yep.
And I think back going off what you said, it's somewhat saying, I can delete how I felt about you. You'll feel shitty about me. I'll delete it. Yeah.
The thing is, they still have to work together, you'd assume, too. So I would like to see more interactions between these two in different episodes.
Well, first you've got to deal with Michael Dorn's broken hands, feet, and arms, because, you broke up and she's been crying.
She broke up with me, so...
But she's still hurt, though, because Dave's not feeling,
I'm gonna bitch slap you, Mr. Worf.
Yeah, she hurt me, Mr. Worf, therefore I hurt you. What? That was the deal? So it's a very interestingly played scene. I do wish, because Brent has often been directed to go one emotion too far. That's clearly emoting, Brent. That's clearly emoting. But I know the symbology of the candle, fine, and of the cat, fine. But I would like one small note of him at the end, looking a little bit sadder. Like one note.
There was that though, because he was sitting in darkness in his room.
But that's not the face. That's everything else except the acting. That was the scenes telling you, but he doesn't need the light to see.
Okay, true, but at least you had ended on that note though.
But that's I wanted him. I wanted one note of him, and we didn't get it.
I got you.
Passive enough. But you're right. I mean, they did everything else they could have. And boy, what an effort with the cutlery and the shiny. He put some real effort in there. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we close out. He sits alone in the dark, which is legitimately a sad thing to end on. It's a good image. It's a good, bad image.
Yeah.
Boy.
A crazy cat man. Man and his cat.
Yes.
All right, guys. It's that time of the night where you guys, load up the sniper rifles for your last super chat assassination attempts, and also, if you want to super chat your final scores for this season,
Mhm.
season 4, we're almost at the end. There's one more after this one,
Ooh.
and for all of TNG as well. So anybody that super chats them, I'll read those out. If you want to just put it in the regular chat, Samuel will read those out once we're done with our summations.
And we're still $55, which is quite a bit, but if we have 9 of you, 10 of you put in 5s, we'll get there quickly. So just put in a few thoughts,
and 2 more likes. Let's get to 120 at least.
Yeah.
All right. So you started. So what was your wrap up?
Yeah. So I liked the episode more at the start, and it got less good for me as it went on. I just don't. I don't know if that's same. Well, yeah. Jump in if you.
I was going to say the 2 stories. The dark matter one got better near the end, and the relationship one got worse at the end. It's just.
Although the Picard shuttle doesn't work as well as they thought it did, and so the payoff for the dark matter is not good. The pre-payoff explanation is good. Like, so
more time should have been focused on the main plot,
which is weird because it's a romance.
Oh yeah.
Oh. No, it's a. They couldn't really do the idea justice. They almost did, and the sad thing is the less the episode was trying to put them together, the more it worked, which is a symbol of Data as well. So it works internally. But well done, Patrick, for good direction. It's a very cheap episode. It's a very character-based episode because they also gave him something that you had to know the characters and you had to know the sets, and he knew both. So it's a very good choice for him. He got a lot out of his friends. They did a good job. It's one that you need in TNG that, it adds a lot. It is another relying on Data one, which is not a shame, but he's always given those sorts of episodes. But at least it is a different take on it. As I said, I wish the lady had been a pre-established character. That would have been an additional layer, but not the end of the world. But everyone else is used well except Gates, Crusher, and I like that. I just think the dark matter went high, didn't end high, but neither did the relationship thing. So something didn't gel, and it rippled at a certain point. So obviously my score will reflect not the brilliance, but like I said, Orville did it better. If you want to see a better one, go watch Orville. It was pretty much perfect.
1000%. Yes.
For me, score-wise, like I didn't have preconceptions. I just liked it more at the start and then liked it less as I went on. This season 6, this season's a good season, All TNG 6.3, good, better than average, but something didn't click, and I think often I'll rate things lower if it didn't reach what it could have,
Yep.
Maybe maybe go 6.5 just to average it out ratio wise, but yeah, not bad by any means, but didn't get there. There you go.
I think I agree with you pretty much on that. Score-wise might be a little bit different, but I like that everybody got a little bit of time to shine. Even Keiko was in this, and she wasn't awful, which was great. Guinan got a little bit of appropriate scene as well, and not trampling all over Troy's scene. Troy had her own scene. Troy was a professional scene. Guinan was the more personal side of that, and that worked out really well. I just wish Beverly would have been in it more. I think there was more potential for her to give advice, considering she has Wesley, who's a kid, who would come to her about a relationship, so it feels like the mom aspect of her wasn't used the way it should have been. And the fact that it was directed by Patrick Stewart, and the whole scene between him and Riker at the end with the shuttle felt very wrong and stilted. Didn't work for me. The Worf and Picard scene in the ready room was great. Like you said, the two straight guys or the straight men just playing it for laughs was great. But the dark matter aspect was so cool. The random stuff that was going on throughout the ship, and basically having to escape from it was, I thought, a very interesting idea. I think it could have been fleshed out a lot more, and I wish there was more explanation as to the planet. What happened there? Was it just a sensor malfunction because it impacted one of the sensors? Or is there a big enough pocket that can hide a whole goddamn planet? Because we never got that sense either. So some random space mystery stuff that needs to be fixed. But overall, we get to see more of the ship. We get to see the torpedo bay, which is cool, and her quarters. It's good to see messy people in the future. They do still exist. So
well, it's a good bottle show. Like it does a lot with the same sets. Maybe not in lighting and filming, but set decoration and way they use them.
Well, that being said, we got some great shots of the Enterprise in a nebula. Some kind of I liked a lot of the nebula shots with the Enterprise, some different angles, and you get to see it bank and do some cool stuff. So.
My only thing is that they recycled their own shots very quickly, and just like, oh, is that one again? Is that one again? Is that one again? Yeah. So, it's like, yeah, they had 4 shots and they used them 7 times. Yeah.
Score-wise, though, I think for this season, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. For all of TNG, though,
be honest, gut reaction.
Well, 5.5.
Ooh,
that's my gut reaction.
Oh, same as last week, where we both shifted the point.
Yeah. It is a good data. Like this should be in a data compilation set.
But it'd be one of his lower ones. Like he has so many better ones. Just hit. This doesn't hit in the same way.
Considering what it's exploring, though, and the way it's dealt with, I think it should be included in something like that, though. But yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's in his top 10, but he's such a fruitful character. It's tricky because it would not take much at all to make it like an 8.5. Like not a lot, which is sad, For me anyway. Hey, Preston. Welcome. Glad you finally got us.
I'll give this episode 3 Samuels out of 5. Here's a tip for Samuel. I'm still waiting to hear the tip you have for Samuel. Is it like...
Don't feed the targs after midnight? Or is that actually encouraged?
Eugene, 500 rubles, 7.5 out of 10. Very uneven episode, but it's fine. You won't see these purely character-based episodes in modern sci-fi shows. Orville did it better, though. Orville perfected this episode. It is hands down like 1,000 times superior. So.
Yeah, and it is true though, because without 26 episodes, you're just not going to give these episodes are important, which is very sad. Yeah, I mean, yes, maybe the main story gets more focused, but like what? Like I know there's that big. Modern shows have half the number of episodes, double if more budget per episode, so they look better. Fine. Why won't one season of Star Trek say, we're gonna half the budget of every episode, and you don't have episodes? Let's make 26. Let's impress people.
Eric Martin makes a good point. Wandering around, not seeing or understanding what's happening, and is like walking through a minefield. Dark matter is a perfect metaphor for a new relationship. That's very interesting.
Wow, wonderful.
Fleet Pass Swiftback, $5. 5 out of 10 for both. Decent A plot, decent B plot. Would have been better separately. It was on the cusp of being good, but fell short. It was kind of meh. It's better than a lot of other meh episodes.
Oh yeah, it's not meh by any stretch from me. Doesn't hit meh.
I would say the same thing, but then I'm looking at my scores, and it's a very meh score. That's like middle of the road score, but
I think I disagree with. I think it needed both in the same episode because you did need that sort of hardcore science, but you should have had Data be in the shuttle, and the lady be helping him be tactical, and them have to deal with it together, and maybe like she works out we're better as friends, like this chemistry works better. I like the old Data who can be very clinical with me. I don't want this new Data.
Or have her on the shuttle being the pilot. They lose communication with her. They think she's maybe dead.
He doesn't give a fuck.
And she realizes there's no reaction from Data.
Yeah.
So her being dead makes no impact on him, which would definitely... See, that would work.
That would make him look worse, though, because Data comes off quite okay this week, apart from the creepy 5 minutes, where he's obviously just doing something a bit weird. What if they're both in the shuttle? What if he volunteers as pilot, she volunteers as the officer to work with the ship? And they're both in the bigger shuttle? How'd that play? Because then you could have the same thing. Like, she gets injured, he doesn't, like, he chooses the ship over her. Which makes sense, but she's like, oh, I want to be picked over the ship. I don't care if it doesn't make sense. Pick me.
Yeah. Yeah, that would work. You definitely do something with them both being on the shuttle.
Because then it brings the... I know you like when A and B are separate, but I think that would have really helped it, rather than a Picard, like, random... Why is this a 3-minute scene?
Yeah, the Picard thing was not good for this episode.
It was the Dune buggy. That's where Dune buggy started. Yeah.
Jarzia, $5 Canadian.
Thank you.
Data, Lieutenant Worf, you implied there would be ritual combat if my relationship with Jenna went poorly. Perhaps we could resolve this in a turbo lift.
Oh dear. Yeah.
And T. Louise Allen, $5, 6 out of 10. This episode is memorable for me because I dated an out-of-touch guy. 8 out of 10 for the season.
Aww. Yeah. Some of these episodes certainly do have a resonance for us individually as people, and we can't...
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Well, something was happening that time in your life, and you saw this episode, and yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's like she's projecting onto him, and you're projecting onto the episode. Which is fine. You know, it's just a bit funny.
Olivia Julius, $5. Here's a tip for Samuel. Tribbles don't make good hairpieces. Oh. Oh. Is she insulting your floof? I think she's insulting your floof.
But guys, we are $7 and 6 likes away. That's it. That's not a lot. That's right there. And I will now jump back and see what the non-super chat scores are. Let's see what people said.
$7 and 6 likes. I'm going to talk over Samuel.
Okay.
That's how our relationship works, Samuel.
6 out of 10. 7.6 out of 10. 7 out of 10. 7.8. 7 out of 10. 5.3. 6 out of 10. 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. 4 point... Nope. 7 out of 10, sorry. 7.5. Yeah, so I think we were a bit lower.
And Richie Dupe says, I really enjoy these reviews. Thank you very much. Yeah, I hope we bring something new to reviewing Star Trek, because we both have our own takes on things. And yeah, I learn a lot from Samuel when we do these, and he'll never admit it, but he probably learns 1 or 2 things from me.
Not since Wrath of Khan have I learned from you. And that's a really deep burn if you understand our relation.
Oh, yes.
That's actually quite a good joke, actually. It's actually quite a good joke.
No, it's not. Continuing. I would pay $1 to have hair like Sam's.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, so. Well, considering he has no hair, I'm just, you know.
Oh.
And Jersey has $7. Can't do anything about the likes.
Oh.
Oh, well, Alicia, yeah, got a super chat goal. Thank you. 3 more likes, guys. 3 more people hitting that like button would be great. If you can do so, please consider.
Yeah, only 3 more. No, yeah, these are definitely good. And you know, I've probably never done a full TNG watch because the last time we had TNG at the house was VHS, which tells you how I never had them DVDs, never had them streaming, and then I got them on Blu-ray at the same time streaming, and you would only pick the ones you want to watch because I was at school, etc. So this is my first time really going through, and when you really analyze things, you know, they're going to stick more now, which is great. And I look forward to doing TOS. You know, TOS, in a similar vein, I'm sure. Some stick out to me super well, some do not. You know, Voyager, I would often watch more random ones, for sure. And DS9, I didn't have as many of. Although I think DS9 blurs together, so you remember what happened in DS9 because it's just like a big story. You know, Odo likes Kira. It happens over 9 episodes, so you know that it's one story over 9 episodes. A lot less happens because it's a lot more of the same plot.
Preston Mayer puts in $5 just to get you closer to your goal and to celebrate my first ever super chat. Yay! Thank you for super chatting. Awesome.
Well, we celebrate you. Thank you so much.
Olivia Julius, $5. Here's a tip for the cap. Puggies love being on YouTube. Bring back the pug. Oh, she's on. I might go get her in a second. Hold on.
I feel like you should, yeah.
And Matt Boardman, $5. Thanks for keeping me company while I work. Snipe.
Well, I Matrix dodged, so it's fine. Missed! Ha! Exactly. And Ozzy says that Superman and Lois already been commissioned for a 2nd season, despite only having 1 episode out, because the fan reaction was so good. Congrats for them.
I just hope it keeps it up. But yeah, I really enjoyed the first episode.
Oh, it's a bit weird. I really, even though I was waiting for the Crisis epic end of season last year, I kind of got lost on and didn't finish watching either Flash, Supergirl, Arrow, or Legends, even though you would think they'd all be amazing.
Jeez. Yeah.
Because you have to watch them all before you watch the Crisis one. And I was burning through Supergirl, and then Flash got. I think I finished. No, I don't know. Arrow got dull. They all got dull. I don't know. The quality of all of them dips as a problem. They all got worse every year, give or take. It's like, well, became obligatory viewing.
That's not good.
But I still want to watch the 6-hour epic because that's important. But no, I never got around to that. So I can't watch that until I can't watch Superman and Lois before I watch all of that because they're now part of the post-Crisis multiverse. So it all links together. It's like DS9. You can't go and watch season 6. So.
But I saw the first episode of Superman and Lois, and there's nothing about any of that.
That you picked up on. That you picked up on. Have you watched?
No, there's nothing.
Have you watched all the other shows?
I've seen.
Did you watch the last season and Crisis on Infinite Earths 6? Then
doesn't matter.
Then you wouldn't know.
Factor into this show.
It does. Because Supergirl, he's introduced in Supergirl. He's from Supergirl. So is Lois.
No, I saw his first introduction in Supergirl.
It was okay. He's a bit bland though, but he's a bland character by definition. He's not interesting. The world around him.
He's better in Superman and Lois. Let's put it that way.
Yes, but he was a charismatic actor though, and she was a charismatic woman, which helped. They were both more charismatic people. But he represents a nice guy. You want Superman to be a nice guy, nice, positive guy. So there you go.
You don't need to watch them all.
No, but any reference they do that spoils it, it's like, well, I could just, like it was the big epic conclusion to the arc for a reason. But so ends our review of Superman and Lois episode 1. Hope you guys enjoyed this week. Hopefully you'll tune in for our second review of Superman and Lois, where they go to Mars. It's a good looking trailer. Yeah, and Gowron shows up. It's very confusing, but it's a multiverse story. Yeah,
and it continues the Star Trek 4 in the Star Trek 4 universe because Lois, when on their way to Mars, he's just taking her in space and she can breathe, just like in Star Trek 4, where he takes the girl into space and she can breathe just fine. It's in that universe. Is what I'm saying.
But obviously, she was once a lowly transported.
Is Mars still on fire?
No, because Lois, as we saw in TNG, is a TNG transporter chief in the Outrageous Hakuda. So they're in the TNG era. So as long as we're still around then, it's fine. Do you remember whatever her name is, Terry Hatchett, whatever her name is, was in TNG? Yeah, so it's her. I'm making that Lois.
Oh, you're making her that Lois.
Yeah, because she's in Star Trek, so why not? So Superman took her forward in time into TNG, and then she got a job on the Enterprise D. And there you go. That'll be the and then Dean, whatever his name is, the other guy will be
Dean Stockwell.
There you go. Good stuff. Alright, well we'll see you all sometime this week as well. Some great time, some great place. Doing some great topic. We'll work out when.
Thursday, probably. I don't know yet. Just pay attention to your notifications, people. Speaking of, make sure you're subscribed. We hit 130 likes. Awesome. But make sure you're subscribed and make sure you click the notification bell icon to all.
Yes.
And join us on Facebook because we have a Facebook group. If you're not aware, we got some new people here. So.
Yes. And thanks once again for jumping in and doing the Drunk Live. That was very nice. We had a fun time. Thanks again for making that all epic.
Absolutely. So until next time, guys, he is the great Commander Captain.
And he is the ever epic Captain Foley, the one of a kind.
They're going to say the ever average.
The ever 6.5 out of 10. So you made me say it. I was fine. You changed it. Bye, guys.